Hello and welcome to the Final 9 of the 2025 PDGA Champions Cup presented by OTB and MVP Disc Sports. It's our first major championship Sunday. I'm happy to be here. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're your two hotkeys.
Honk. A lot of putting. A lot more putting than you normally see from both Kristin and Paige on the last couple holes of the front nine, which if you didn't watch, you're a psychopath and go watch it.
What are you doing?
5 strokes separating. Missy, Gannon playing really confidently out there. A lot of windy conditions.
Yeah, Annika and Sten, one of the only players able to start stacking up birdies besides our current tournament leader. Everyone kind of struggling today. The conditions were not as friendly as we'd hoped, and it was a pretty rough wind. Let's get things kicked off here with this par 4. It's 591 feet, and it plays pretty true to that distance. It's a very technical tee shot. You can either throw a hyzer around that first tree or a big turning shot. Ideally, you want to get way down there, though, because the second shot gets scarier the further away you are. It's an elevated basket, and it's placed very fairly off the pond, right around 55 or 60 feet from the edge of the water. It is tucked behind some tall grass, though, that can make throwing a simple hyzer into the green difficult. Yeah, forehand is a huge advantage here.
A nice looking tee shot to start things off from Silva.
The hyzer, she made that look really easy. It was a left to right wind that made the hyzer a little scary because if you showed a little bit of the underside of the disc, you would very easily just drift straight into that OB on the right side that you're carrying here off the tee.
And Missy not messing around, making sure to hyzer into the safe area. I'm guessing she'll go across from there, but it's probably a little shorter than she would normally land in calmer conditions.
Yeah, she's really dumbing it down here, just protecting the birdie she already has. There's Kristin really trusting this flex shot.
Yeah, this is the super aggressive line, and it pays off for her. She'll be a bit tucked, but with her sidearm, she should be right in range for a birdie. Paige had a great drive on the last hole, just struggled on the putting green. She's been throwing well all day, but with that flip-up game she has, I'm going to say the wind might kind of take it to the right, but man, she manages the angle so perfectly there.
That is so far down there. Even with that big gust of wind right in her run-up, she still throws a really perfect hyzer flip shot.
So impressive. Missy lining this one up. How far do you think to cross the water?
I think she's right in the 300-foot range to cross, maybe 310 or 330 all the way to the pin. Kind of heading towards that OB, but she checks up nicely in circle 2, and she'll also have a pretty friendly wind on the putt.
Yeah, well managed from there. Silva needing to work more of a left to right moving shot rather than her preferred straight shot.
And she's closer to 260-ish to cross the water. Maybe a little less than that. I like the play of a slow speed disc. She barely trickles over the pond.
Yeah, almost too slow of a speed. Kristin going to show us the sidearm. As Madison said, quite an advantage on the second shot. Not taking that tall grass out of play.
We've seen Kristin kind of drift her approach shots a little left. This one corrected nicely, and she is in the bullseye. No thoughts required for that birdie.
Except for maybe a yay.
Yeah. Paige, so close. I mean, 180, 200 feet.
Wow.
Oh. Wow. Oh, my God. Did you see the elevator down?
Yes. She was like calling for it, too. It was so dramatic. Look how hyped she is.
Full sprint. She got there in like 20 seconds.
It was dead center the whole time, too. Unreal.
That was the roar I heard.
So cool.
From across the course, it sounded wild.
Oh, good. I'm glad we get to see this again. This thing flies dead straight.
Oh, I like this view.
Yeah.
Look at that. Flip up, perfectly flat, elevator.
Wow.
Oh, never even a question.
And you're right. A very impressive run-in time.
Yeah. I think if we're picking sprinters in the FPO field, Paige would be a top choice. Wow, okay, Silva. Just feeding off the adrenaline, following up with a huge putt of her own.
Yeah, not to be outdone, I guess. Give her a slow miss. Look at the gallery, too.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. A lot of cool things happening on hole 10. See if Missy can keep it going. She's going to come up with a band hit and just going to have to settle for par. And Kristin with a tap in.
Impressive in her own right.
Very exciting. Man, my heart rate is still elevated from that throw in.
So impressive, and a bounce back to an eagle.
Yeah.
She gained or lost 2 strokes and gained them right back.
Hole 11, a par 3, 347 feet. Water on the left obviously is out of bounds, so you want to make sure that you cross over the land and hopefully stay dry because this pin is maybe 10 feet from the water on the left and even less straight ahead. Most FPO gonna throw a flexing shot that turns really hard out of the hand immediately off the tee and then comes back. We have seen some slower speed disc. We've seen some forehands. We've seen some stuff out here. Paige, I believe this is her captain's Raptor, and that's looking really nice. It just needs to kind of check up here. Check up, check up.
Oh, if you're going to go out of bounds, that's the place to do it. Inches from catching the bottom of the basket, though.
And Paige, after that eagle, only 3 strokes behind Missy. Ooh. A surprisingly easy mistake to do if you're nervous about landing in the water. Fortunately, she does cross.
We did have a tailwind on this hole, but for some reason it didn't make it feel easier today. Kristin did this exact play yesterday over the tops of those reeds and does it even better today, sliding nicely inside the circle.
Missy, similar force over turning shot. Wow, lead card doing really well overall. Silva, definitely the shot looked a little bit nervy there. And this is a touchy approach shot.
Yeah, only 5 competitors got to circle 1 in regulation, and I'm pretty sure just 3 people on our lead card did. 3 of the 5 we got to watch. You can see Silva leaving that just a little bit shorter than you want, but like Erika said, that is such a scary approach to have to make from that far down the fairway.
Yeah, that was a tentative looking approach shot from Silva. Missy, one of our 3 inside the circle. Out of, how many did you say?
5.
Wow. And a great putt.
And only 12 to circle 2 in regulation.
Wow.
So that shows you how many people were not able to even get to circle 2, and also that there were 8 OB strokes.
Wow.
Yep, a lot of people in the water here.
Missy, such a good putt from the circle's edge. Sometimes it's hard to make your body fully commit with that water looming. Whew, solid par save there. Does Paige's count as landing inside the circle even though she's out of bounds?
I don't think so. Wait,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right?
Yeah, I think it does actually. That's a good question. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
So it's a good question.
On the stats, it does not.
Okay. But does it?
No.
So,
yes.
Just kidding. Kristin with a nice birdie conversion there. Paige so close to parking this hole. Kristin gonna tie it up with Paige, both 4 strokes back of Missy.
Evelina Saarinen, Addison Woodard, also from Circle 1. Madison is a name you should really keep an eye out for. Played with her in round 1. Her putt is nasty. Violet Main also parking the hole. Here is hole 12. The B layout, par 5, that we in the booth love to hate. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not.
It's this place is a really tough par 4. That's our basket on the right that we're zooming by. It's a hard par 4. It's difficult to get your second shot, even with a really good drive, under those low-hanging tree branches into the green. But in order to go for this par 5 safely, you do have to do just that. If you don't, and you do get tangled up early in that line of trees on your second shot, you have to just pitch up a third shot to the layup zone. Oftentimes it's 80 feet, maybe 100 feet. It's just a little jump putt, kind of funny to have in the middle of the round, and it leaves you with about a 200 to 240 foot shot to the quote-unquote island green. It's not a technical island because there's a little bit of peninsula of safe all the way up to it, but feels like an island.
Island in spirit, for sure. Kristin showing us the hyzer route. Missy going to show us the left side. Ooh.
Trust.
Nice amount of turn. This is going to be such a cool eagle from Paige. Do you think she can do it again?
Oh, if she gets around that tree, yes, I think she can.
No. Well, yeah, she could. She could. If anyone could.
I think it was if I remember correctly, it was a friendly wind. A little bit on the tailwind side. So setting up nicely for the distance throwers to take big risks.
I love to see the variety of lines here. Paige going way out to the right, making the second shot across the water. Missy and Silva taking the left side. Kristin splitting the middle. Oh, Missy's going out and around. This is how you got to do it if you want a birdie.
Yep. But
Looks like she wants to birdie.
Yeah, she does. That's a play. Oh my gosh, look how close she is to that OB line. That is set up absolutely perfect. You will see pitch ups on the third that aren't that close to the OB line. So good. You can see her with the adrenaline pumping.
This is more of a typical play from the rest of the field, and you can just see how difficult that shot is. Low ceiling. Makes it really tough to get far enough to be able to cross on your third.
Yeah, you can go where Missy did around the hyzer way. Kristin going to show us the other direction, which I kind of like this play as well. Unfortunately, she leaves it a little bit too low. If you ride the OB line on the left side, it does open yourself up to the third shot pretty nicely as well. Paige, she is so far to the right that she has pretty much a straight shot.
Oh, whoa, sawed off for sure, but she's going to get away with it, though I don't know that she'll be able to cross from there. She might, but it's risky now.
She looks like she could be pinched up against that tree.
That looked like a very early release from Paige. And here's that fun pitch up we all like.
Silva gonna show us the pitch up as well.
And the main reason, to be clear, that we don't like this is it's just a strange look to have a par 5 that the MPO can eagle, and then everyone over there on Party Island just watching a variety of pitch ups. Like, it's not a great look.
Yeah, we would love for something a little bit more fun. I was chatting about it today. Oh, Paige is going for it.
Mm-hmm. Not much of a run up there, backed up against that tree trunk, but this looks like it has plenty of power. Nice. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, we were talking about it today, some changes that could happen. And it seems like it maybe could be fun to like throw from the short side of the pond potentially, and let potentially the FPO have looks at some eagles.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. It's still a really difficult shot. You still have to be low ceiling as you crash into the screen.
Kristin going forehand.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
The basket.
Yeah, it sure did.
Oh, and thankfully it did not get too bad of a rebound.
If we had 2 throw-ins in a few holes, at least one of the members in the gallery would have just passed out from excitement. That's crazy. Wow.
That's crazy.
What part of the basket do you think Missy's going to hit on this shot?
Look at Missy trusting this hyzer. She is just playing the most confident golf.
Yeah, she's going to find the circle as well.
Only 8 competitors in the field were able to find circle 1 in regulation.
Silva's 4th, looking really great.
Missy in birdie position.
Oh. Windy.
Yeah, the screen was pretty wild.
Paige looking for her birdie from 25 feet. Looks like a right to left wind. Leaves it low left.
You never quite know what's going to happen after a throw-in. Your adrenaline's all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Kristin with a really solid par putt. There were only 4 birdies on hole 12 today. Only the 4th most difficult hole of the day.
Sounds like maybe more people parred it today.
Yep, definitely half the field with a par. Violet Main also getting this one again. Shout out.
Yeah, she's good.
Holland Hanley, Hannah Wynn, and Evelina Saarinen, the other 3 birdies.
And some solid par putts from our lead card here. Paige tapping in for her par. Round of par isn't too bad on this hole.
No, this is a one that everyone's still kind of figuring out, and I think even we're figuring out in the overall design.
Mm-hmm.
Still really cool that they were able to add so many new tee pads and greens without having to add a second course. It's pretty cool to be able to do all your practice at one location. Shout out.
I sort of like proved to myself that I still got it. Whatever is meant to happen with me will happen. And what I want wants me even more. So I just have to be open to receive it.
Hole 13, another par 4, 535 feet. Tee pad is moved back a little bit and OB line is tight than we've seen in previous years. So you want to avoid these low-hanging tree branches on the right, get past them ideally to open up your next shot. We are on the right pin today. I like this pin placement more, but it is closer to the water, so pick your poison. Generally, if you just make it across to the island on your second, you're pretty happy. There is is it a mandatory drop zone? I believe a mandatory drop zone for any shot from the fairway that does not come to rest in bounds. And that drop zone's about 35 feet or so. Kristin, once again, just a touch low on these forehands. She is safe, but that's going to be a big second shot from there.
This was a really tough tee shot today. The wind was absolutely screaming up this fairway, and it's hard to decide what you want to do. If it hyzers out too much, you can show the underside of the disc. You can blow OB left. If you turn your disc, that OB line on the right side is right there. You can see Missy doing what she does, keeping it nice and low, which is smart, but it's going to make the second shot potentially difficult with those low-hanging tree branches. Paige with another early release.
Ooh, gonna find out of bounds. A surprising mistake, but that wind.
Yeah, that thing had a lot of spin on it. Yeah, this tee shot was so hard today.
This looks great.
These tree branches are, I feel like, so much lower than years past as well. It's so hard to get underneath that low ceiling. It's a very specific line you have to take.
Yeah, I mean, and it's way harder just being the, 80 feet back that we are.
Yeah, Missy further back than you would ideally like to be, but far enough where she can go for it.
And it pays off to go for it, because if you miss, she can proceed to that drop zone and have a chance at par. And she indeed does miss. Really spry gallery, though.
Yeah. The reaction time was impressive. Here's Kristin, barely inbounds on the right side, left side of the fairway, but nice and wide open.
Oh, that looks perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Bullseye hit for Kristin.
That's so good. So professional.
Yeah, there are not a lot of people parking this one. So close to the water.
Paige from her out of bounds tee shot.
Come on, get up. Come on.
Oh, man.
And you see that happen so often. Just so close to the water. Paige going to be putting for bogey from the drop zone. At least you don't have to keep rethrowing it, and you have a chance to save it from the drop zone.
Yeah. It's really, I hope we're not underestimating how hard it is to throw hyzer flips in this much wind. It's chaotic. Silva, able to throw these flat shots, has a bit of an advantage here, and she's really showing us how it's done. Here's Missy from the drop zone. The basket's about 15 feet from the water's edge.
Yeah, Missy not quite giving that a full bid. Missy going to take a bogey there. Paige for her bogey. Looking to limit the damage. Limited.
Dead center.
Silva with a great birdie. Gonna bring it to within one stroke of Paige.
Kristin with a really great birdie of her own.
Yeah, that's a 2-stroke swing there. So only 2 strokes now separating Missy from Kristin. The smallest her lead has been all around.
A lot of movement happening on this course. Isn't this so much fun to watch? It's such a well-designed FPO course. It's fun to play, fun to watch. Look how exciting it is.
I'm looking.
Hole 14. It's the same in both layouts. We know this one well. It's been on the layouts for a while here at Swenson Park. 314 feet. Feels like it plays a little bit longer than that. I'm not sure why. Low ceiling maybe, or the trees blocking the basket, but feels like you kind of have to crush this one. The basket is well blocked by these big, beautiful oak trees. You see a lot of obstructed putts, both for birdie and par. We had a ripping headwind again today on this one.
Kristin has thrown this well the last couple days, but has been right behind that first very large tree and had to straddle out. So she's looking to finish farther right and have a more open look. Which she does, but it's circle 2.
It's a pretty common landing zone on the heat map. It's pretty hot over there, both on the right and left side of the green at circle 2.
Wind taking hold of that one. Silva's disc flipping way up and over to the right. I'm sure she's outside of circle 2 still.
This type of shot is Missy's specialty. Dead straight.
Yeah. Good call.
That's where
So
I put
straight.
my money for this type of hole every time.
Your biggest money.
Yes. Definitely the biggest money.
That's her ESP Swirl Captain's Thrasher. Love to see that again. What a nice little backboard. Paige really low out of the hand there. Getting kind of pushed down very early.
Yeah, and on these windy days, it's hard to continue to trust your discs. You see this a lot from players. Their body not quite letting them fully commit to the shot. What a nice approach shot, though, from Paige.
Silva from 75 feet or so, giving this a really strong run.
Kristin from circle 2, around 40 feet.
Not going to make this and stay within 2 since Missy is parked. Wow. Yeah, she
Huge.
loves it.
That is huge.
Yeah, a lot can happen in this final stretch. Important to stay close. Also important to get as many slow mezzes as you can.
Kristin with just that one double bogey on the card, but otherwise a very clean round. She's looking super strong today in the back 9.
Paige missing to the left on that par. And Silva missing one from just outside the bullseye. Yeah, we've seen her miss a few, kind of shorter ones. Oh, boy.
This is very surprising.
And Missy with the tap in from the hole.
You think they have a pact on the card? Everyone's got to do at least one 3-putt. It's just so surprising to see.
Weird pact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it is shocking.
Well, Missy hasn't yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see if she stays true to the pact.
I feel like a lot of people can agree that Silva's one of the strongest putters in our field right now. So very surprising little lapse on 14.
Hole 15, a par 3, 297 feet. Oh, dang it. This was my guess for easiest hole in the course. I said 14, but I just misremembered. It doesn't matter. The drone is flying kind of the middle gap. I think most women taking the more right side hyzer and getting a nice little skip. The B position plays a lot easier than the A position, so I really like this change. I think it's a fun one to attack.
Well, you win.
So, yeah, but I kinda with an
No, you
asterisk.
win.
I said 14.
We make the rules. Do you agree that you win?
Yeah, I won. Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations to Erika for winning the game today.
Thank you. I've never won before, and it doesn't really feel right, but I'm still going to take it.
Yeah.
And here's that hyzer route I was talking about. Kristin going to skip to, wow, 18 feet.
Executed perfectly. You do kind of have to hug those trees a little bit, or else you are very quickly in circle 2. There's an inside route as well. It's a little bit scarier, but very much there.
And pressure now on for Missy with Kristin parked. She doesn't want it to come within one stroke. And she'll have a putt.
Yep, and that's on the heat map. That is a very hot zone.
Both Paige and Silva falling pretty far off the pace here. I think it's kind of become the battle for first and third. But you never know. 17, 18 are some doozies of finishing holes.
Especially with the conditions from today. Paige a little bit early out of the hand. She's going to be in circle 1, but maybe with an obstructed putt. The left to right wind was pretty nice on this hole. It was a little breather for once.
Silva leaving it wide, but kind of biting into the ground, not getting that nice hyzer skip.
Yeah, kind of checking out a little bit here. 4 days at a major can be brutal, especially having these windy conditions on the final day. Here's Paige with a wide straddle for birdie.
Right on circle's edge. Looks like just outside. Good effort.
At this point, we know Paige is just battling in her own head. She knows she can make these putts. Oh, Missy knows that she can make these putts as well, and that was an important one. Kristin with the ability to take one stroke back from our leader.
Wow. One stroke separating 3 holes to play. Got a ball game here. Silva making good on the comebacker at a distance that she just missed on the last hole. Everyone else going to tap out their pars. Kristin making moves here in the final push. Look at that, 5 down through the last 7 holes.
Yeah, and just that little bit of pressure is enough in our last 2 holes.
What's going on, guys? Hold My Bag just launched the greatest disc golf fantasy game in the universe.
Hold My Bag just dropped the best fantasy disc golf game the planet has ever seen.
I want to tell you guys about the newest disc golf fantasy game on the market.
One of my favorite parts is the Hold My Bag. This is something that we started doing, and it's actually a lot of fun.
Here is hole 16. The B layout has us in a par 4 as opposed to the par 3 that we see right here on the right. There's the tee pad for that. So ideally on the par 4, you want to land your tee shot near that tee pad to play a similar par 3 here to get the birdie. It's the hardest par 3 on the course by a long shot, so therefore it's a very hard par 4 as well. You don't see a lot of players able to get as far down the fairway to get even with that tee pad. Forehand is a huge advantage here, but in reality, no one really guaranteeing a birdie on this hole. I don't think anyone's got it on their bingo list. It's one that feels like a gift if you're able to capitalize on it. Kristin trying to get some big distance down the fairway, but unfortunately she's going to hit the tree branches that a lot of people hit.
Yeah, more of a lump of coal situation for Kristin.
Yeah. The turnover backhand is probably the best way to get distance, but it's just a much scarier line.
Oh, Missy lacing this thing.
Yeah, she sure is. And being left on the fairway like she is right now is such a big advantage for trying to get to the basket on her second.
I love that shot. But yeah, it feels a little too scary. I like the forehand. Paige.
Wow.
Wow, carbon copy of yesterday, it looks like. Beautiful shot.
Mm-hmm. That left to right wind helping Silva's disc as well. And look how skilled they are, making this shot look so easy. Kristin settling for par here at best.
She kind of looks like she's thinking about something.
Yeah, but I think
too
it's
far.
just, yeah,
Too far.
there's that second Mando tree on the right side that is in play. So just wanting to make sure she doesn't miss that Mando and has enough fade on this disc that it doesn't go out of bounds. That OB line on the left side comes up so fast.
And it looks like there was a stance violation called by the marshal on the card.
Let's watch this in slow-mo.
Her
Ooh.
foot hits and
Ooh.
touches the disc before it's out of her hand.
Yeah, a little bit of a slide maybe.
Yeah, it looked like her foot slid out and touched it. So that is a stroke penalty. Pretty big here considering she's within 1 of Missy.
Yeah, not required for a second if the marshal calls it. Paige unfazed, going to throw the dream shot.
Yeah, and she's pleased with it. She wasn't able to convert yesterday. That was a phenomenal shot. Looks like Kristin trying to argue her case there with the marshal who is standing firm.
Yeah, no one on the card called or seconded it, but like I said, it's not required to have a second if it's from the marshal. We do have a marshal following all of our lead and chase cards, and they are supposed to make calls like that a lot. It's just not a super common occurrence. Very often discussed rule in our sport right now.
I'm sure we're going to see more of this kind of thing, though, as we progress, as far as like marshals being either involved or on more cards as the sport grows.
Nobody saw it. Yeah. And like I'm asking him, like, are you like 100% sure that I didn't release the disc before I like touched the disc? But he said he cannot see both. But he's comfortable.
At the same time, but the disc was up like a couple holes ago.
He is comfortable
This was out of
calling
the
it
hand.
like
When
this.
you're comfortable with the disc on the ground.
Okay.
I'm sure Kristin likely, I don't know what emotion she's feeling, but she's got to be feeling several. But she doesn't let it show. Very professional upshot.
Yeah. What a strange situation, just in the sense that it's new, and it's a pretty pivotal moment to make a call like that. And it, it definitely was a foot fault, but it's also was a little bit of a slip as well. So it's just,
Really unfortunate.
yeah, that's really highlighting some of the gray areas of our sport. Speaking of gray areas, look where Missy is right now.
I didn't realize this was in bounds.
Yeah, there's kind of a weird pulled off OB line as we get closer to the green.
Paige for a birdie. After kind of a rough little stretch after her eagle. Really well done. Got to be one of the only birdies of the day.
Yeah, Paige, one of only 3 birdies today. Evelina Saarinen and Katrina Allen also getting it.
Kristin taking a bogey with that stance violation. Yeah, not really how you want to see it play out.
It is strange to not have the card be involved with the call as well, just because that's what we're all used to as disc golfers. We're self-officiated. The marshal thing, of course, we've had for a few years, but it's just not as common as we see them calling things.
I usually kick when I'm doing the shots, but that's what I'm saying. Like, is he like 100% sure that I released the disc after I had moved the disc? And he said he cannot tell, but like he is okay. He wasn't
looking when the disc was released.
Okay, telling
How can you
me
make a call?
extra stroke.
I didn't see it at the time. Yeah. Yeah, but it's not a
You
foot
saw
fault when the
only
disc
one
moves on
thing.
the ground. It's not a foot fault. Foot fault is when you release the disc later after the disc on the ground has moved. But you said yourself that you didn't see that. I feel it after the round. This is joke.
Well, just ask my score from him. I don't know what my score is. I'm not going to insert anything.
Sounds like Kristin and Silva are arguing, that was it clear, was the disc out of her hand before her foot touched the disc, because that's the difference in a foot fault or not.
Yeah, and it would be difficult to call, especially in motion. Definitely a pretty quick time that goes from when her foot hit the disc and when she actually released it, and it's hard to call in real time. We can
It's
say
impressive that he's so sure.
Yeah, we can say all we want while we watch it in slow motion from the comfort of our chairs.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a tough call to make, and definitely a new situation. I do think we should be calling things more often, and we should trust our marshals to call things more often. But this is going to be that like weird line where we have to get used to it.
Yeah,
so,
very uncomfortable.
Yes, definitely.
Hole 17 is a par 4, 626 feet. First shot, you are crossing a little path of out of bounds to a middle section. You want to come up short of the water. A lot of ladies trying to flip something and land over towards the right, kind of like what Paige is doing. This is a perfect shot. Second shot is across the water. They've narrowed the landing zone from previous years. The pin is up on a hill. Distance-wise, very, very gettable, but a lot of technicality. One small error, I think, is really kind of highlighted and exaggerated if you aren't careful.
Yeah, we played this hole all 4 days. So it's kind of fun to try to polish on this one, but you definitely see a lot of varied outcomes for how used to the hole we should be. Kristin, definitely going to have to play through some, maybe some frustration issues right now.
And I mean, she's playing well considering. I like Missy's line. Kind of a low, punchy hyzer out to the right. Silva also kind of hanging it out to the right, more of a hyzer. A little shorter than you want, but she's still able to go across from there if she wants. Pretty far water carry from here. Probably at least 300 feet to the water's edge.
What a great shot from Silva. It seems just like a simple kind of chuck hyzer, but that OB on the left side of the green comes up so fast if you accidentally just put a teeny bit too much angle. The hill down slopes to that side, and it's crazy how fast your disc will find that OB with just a little bit too much angle on it.
Paige up next, hanging out a wide hyzer. And that's going to be, looks like just inside the circle for Paige. A nice shot.
This hole had mostly a tailwind. A little bit friendlier. Kristin lets this one go a little low. It's got some nice spin on it, though, and squeaks through those two guardian trees, giving herself a putt.
Definitely more putt than you want. Missy looking to put this close, take a stress-free par. I just realized she's wearing $ earrings.
Yes. Her big money earrings.
So funny. Oh, look at her.
Yep, living up to the earrings.
She's got to play a little better when she's wearing those.
The first time she put them on and showed me, she was like, I've never seen someone glow like the sun. She was like, what do you think? Because I wear earrings a lot. And she was like, check these out.
Wow.
And she like tucked her hair behind her ears, waited for me to notice.
Oh my. That's hilarious.
It's the best.
Kristin coming up short, definitely showing her frustration. Gonna be a 2-stroke swing with 1 to play.
Pretty brutal. That's a pretty brutal turn of events coming down the stretch like this. Especially Kristin was really focused, locked in, and had closed a gap in the last couple of holes.
Yeah, it's hard not to be shaken.
Yeah.
Silva converting the birdie nicely. Missy from just outside the bullseye. And 18 is an exceedingly difficult finishing hole, so it's not over, but I'm sure the couple strokes Missy now has is a little bit of a relief. I mean, Missy can just play for par or even bogey and be totally fine. The Reddit threads are going to go nuts with this foot fault thing.
Yeah. It's hard to, I guess we don't have to have a super strong opinion. Maybe you guys do. You can put it in the comments. We won't read them. Just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, let us know what you think. I am kind of curious. And let's wrap things up with this really easy hole. It was also dream conditions today. About 20 mile per hour sustained headwind. Pretty technical tee shot with the addition of that new little baby tree. It used to be a nice wide open shot, but now you have to pick hyzer or forehand or big anhyzer. There is room to work though, which is nice, but it doesn't matter how far you get down the fairway. This shot always is going to seem scary on a day like today. the wind felt like a wall. It was just brutal at times. Really, really intense. So everyone knows they just got to get off the tee and mostly set themselves up to error deep on their second.
And Missy off to a strong start. That's the perfect landing zone.
They really pinched that OB line in on the right side, so that's still a scary shot. It looks nice and easy. Silva and Missy. Oh, Silva's just flipping a little, heading towards that OB, and not exactly a place where you want to land. She probably is going to just play for par from there.
Yeah, those trees are going to be in the way, and also those branches hang so low.
Uh-oh.
Paige not flipping this up enough, although she's going to check up before the OB so she can par.
Yeah, comes out just a wee bit early again. A little tentative. Kristin committing to the shot. That's crushed. That's so good.
That's so good. That's, 80 feet past Missy's, which is also a great shot.
Here's Paige from up high, very close to the OB line. This is a terrifying shot. Maybe a little bit of advantage being high. I don't know.
This is a cool shot.
So cool.
So cool.
Oh my God.
Gotta give it up for Paige
That
Pierce.
was incredible.
Putting on a show today.
I was joking. I feel like it's even scarier that she was up so high.
Yeah.
She's just in the wind now, not below it. She's right up in it.
And Silva getting aggressive on this upshot, but the fade is going to take it out of bounds.
I kind of like the play.
Mhm.
If you might as well just go ahead and go for it and error out of bounds left. Missy, focus face on.
Yeah, Silva has a huge buffer over fifth place, so her position is secure. She just needs to finish out.
This is the right mistake to make. She knows that is good enough for gold at this point.
Yeah, she can just lay up, but Kristin wanting to put the pressure on, maybe not make it too easy for Missy to win this thing. We've seen this multiple days. The first 2 days from Kristin, the same exact error. It's so close to perfect, but that water line is just right next to the basket. She will be parked for a par. And it's going to be, it was such a good battle. And you just don't want that kind of controversy or maybe just strange new adversity anyway, going into the final bit of a very exciting major.
Yeah, the growing pains is very evident in this specific instance. Missy just laying up.
Gotta give it to Missy Gannon, though. She played strong the whole tournament, particularly yesterday. She did earn this victory.
Absolutely. Her putting has been unbelievable, throwing the Thrasher all over the place. And, she did have a little bit of a slow start. She battled back. Kristin with a strong showing as well. Her first time out here at Swenson Park, looking like she's played it a million times. Paige back in action. She's stoked to be in the running.
And very fun to watch. But the biggest congratulation goes to Missy Gannon, your 2025 Champions Cup winner.
Yeah, let it sink in, Missy.
Come on, Colin.
Missy's like, my cute outfit. Oh, what a showing out here.
What I've done in all of the final rounds that I've been in contention, I kind of just think that the score is 0-0, and I try not to think about how many strokes I already have or what I have to make up. I'm just trying to shoot the best that I can every single round. Doesn't matter what's going on around me until about the end when I actually have to know what I need to do. You know, there was a lot going on at that time, a little bit of confusion and things going on outside of just the, you know, my game and my throwing. And so I was just again trying to center myself, get back to me, and be selfish in those moments and just remember that I have to focus on myself and I need to just do what I need to do. And so, yeah, it's not easy, but I found it, and I'm just happy that I did.
California, Big Money Missy is your 2-time major champion. Congratulations.
Wow, so uplifting.
And I'm just such an impressive showing from Missy. You can never count her out. It could be her weekend any weekend, and it's so cool to see her consistently carry year after year.
And I think the real story, when it comes down to it, is how much champagne has been sprayed all over Missy Gannon, because she wins when it really matters, and that means you're gonna get champagne.
Oh man, yeah, she's had a lot of champagne showers.
We've seen it a lot.
Yeah, we sure have.
Yeah, one more final congratulations. What a showing. It's been an exciting one to watch. Thanks to everyone at OTB and everyone who volunteered, everyone who put any time into this at all. I think it's really obvious how much love and care has been put into this course.
Yeah, first time major out here at in OTB country, and it was really wonderful. Truly awesome layout, truly great design. Thanks to all the volunteers and staff that showed out. Thanks to all the people that came out and watched. It was an amazing major.
And thanks to us.
Yeah, we did a great job too. We really did. I think that's about everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that wraps things up.
I think just subscribe to the Jomez channel.
Oh yeah, 500K is in our reach with your help. We got a week off, and we'll see you guys in Washington State at the Cascade Challenge. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We're the two hot geese.
Honk.
Honk.
Sunshine, get up on my body, know it truly, I feel fine. Get up, watch your body, and I feel that sunshine. Get up on my body, know it truly, I feel fine.